Hello ladies and gents, welcome to the live stream. Hope you're all doing well. And just as people filter in and as I'm getting set up, please let me know in the chat if the audio levels are correct. And I will just file my flight plan on VATSIM, and then I will begin our departure brief. Okay, hey Marvin, good to see you. So, ladies and gents, we are in the Sky Simulations DC-9-10. It has been a long time since I have featured this on my YouTube channel, for good reason. I helped beta test the most recent update for this, and I basically just burnt out on the DC-9. And since the update, I've really not flown it a lot because of various other issues. And I hope one day that he continues to update this. I've not heard a peep from the developer since he made this live. So I don't know what is happening with this aircraft product. If there's further updates still in the pipeline, he's just gone completely dark for me. Maybe some other people out there have heard more. Let me know, that would be great. Because I would like to see this aircraft be pushed even further than it is. It still needs a lot of work, I think, and a lot of refinement, and that's what the community also is giving feedback on. So, but I do remember saying back when I was beta testing the update that once it was in a decent state, I really should fly it for you guys, and I never really got around to doing a full flat VATSIM sort of flight. There's not much VATSIM coverage on in my departure and arrival airports, but I'm hoping that by the time I get in cruise, maybe some area controllers in Europe will come online, and once we land in Venice, maybe we could do the return leg, and maybe by the time we get a return leg to somewhere like East Midlands here, or Gatwick or Heathrow or whatever, maybe Manchester, that there might be somewhere we can fly to that has a bit more scenery. So that's the idea. I'm going to go now through the getting on board and getting the flight planning set up. So I don't usually I'm not usually one of these simmers who's really into terminal modeling inside the terminals. But it looks good. I think it looks really good, and I thought, excuse me, let's just jump into this. Let's just jump into this flight in the terminal first. So let's walk out to the aircraft. So this is now Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 running on my RTX 4070, which is significantly smoother. Although now that I've come out to the aircraft, I do notice that things are a little bit more stuttery, but that may just be the VATSIM implementation. All of the tests I've done with the setup so far have been without VATSIM, flying offline, so maybe VATSIM is going to add another layer of performance drag. My CPU cores, which I've been looking at, are kind of hanging in the mid to low 70s at the moment. So I'm going to be watching that. I might need to open the French doors in cruise and get some more draft coming in. Hello, Ian. Good to see you. Thanks for dropping by. Right, well, without much further ado, let's jump into the aircraft. So, Control C, and, yes, I remember this cockpit. Many's a confusing hour did I spend beta testing this bad boy. Anyway, so this is the DC-9-10. So let's get the flight plan up. I think I can fetch the flight plan. So that's the flight plan from SimBrief that I've got. I can go over these waypoints in a minute. Let's go to the weights and balances and actually. Oh, I'm just going to pause track IR there and remove my phone from my pocket because it's making my headphones go did. Okay, so let's look at. There's a fair amount of actual users on VATSIM today, but not a huge amount of ATC has come online yet. So just looking at the SimBrief weights and balances here. So we've got a block fuel of 17,000 pounds. So the nearest, this is the thing, the nearest SimBrief profile that I could get was the DC-9-30, not the DC-9-10. So these are the weights and balances for the 30 variant, not the 10. So we're going to have to just kind of guesstimate a bit here, because sadly, still no one has come up with a DC-9-10 weights and balances for SimBrief. But there we go. So, so fuel. We can pop that fuel up to 17,000, just over 17,000. Let's go 17.2. We're going to just estimate this at the moment. So that's 17.2. The estimated takeoff weight here is 91,000 pounds. But of course, here we have, so zero fuel weight 74,000. Ramp fuel is 17.2, which I've just added here. The packs is, SimBrief is saying 90 packs, but we've only got a total of 88. So that's 40, 40, that's 80, 88. So our current, and we want 2 pilots as well. So here we go. So what we want is the takeoff weight. The max takeoff weight is 90,700. We're at 86,300. So I think we could whack in a bit more fuel. The thing is I don't know quite how much fuel. Let's go 19,000 pounds of fuel. Temperature's 27 degrees, which, yeah, it's pretty hot. I've got all of the doors and windows closed and the curtains drawn to try and keep the cooler air in the house today. Let's see. Yeah, so that seems okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to unpause track IR, and I'm going to go down and look at the fuel quantities, which is 4,000. That's about 4,600, 4,000. Yeah, that's about 4,600 in the sides and 3 in the middle. So the second that I press the update button, yeah, there you go. So that's how we know that the weights and balances have been correctly updated to the aircraft. Now we've got some pretty beefy tanks there across all 3. So we'll probably land with a fair amount of excess. But then when we land, if we've got a huge excess, you know, we don't have as much to add into the tanks in Venice for a return flight. So there's that. Okay, so if I can remember the full-on checklist here. So that's been done. The doors, etc. Why don't we? Can we bring in GSX? I think I did do an update on GSX recently. Let's go sim reload GSX. Is it going to? Yeah. I know that. It's not going to load for me then, is it? Because SimBrief says I'm a DC-3, and I have and MSFS is a DC-1. Okay, so screw SimBrief. We're not going to use that. We'll just have to do a power back from the stand rather than use GSX. Yeah. Okay. So, having done that, I can't remember if there are any checklists in this. No, the checklists were on a separate PDF. So let's just open the front stairs and the door. There you go. You can hear that open there. And cones, pneumatic air, etc. That's fine. Let's bring my joystick down. Yeah, I've not flown this aircraft on the new joystick as well, so there's a few firsts that are going to be happening here. What I also don't like is the flickering of the pedal. Let's just configure my MFG. I'm just going to use the MFG configurator. I'm going to do this before we take off so that we haven't avoided. Yeah, there you go. That's the right axis is wobbling. Sometimes it just goes out of sync and you have to. Let's hit start on the left. Let's just use the full range of motion and stop. And then for the right, let's go start and full range of motion and stop. And yeah, that's reset. And the rudder never actually has an issue. So let's hit apply, and then we shouldn't see that right rudder have an issue. Okay, so we are just imagining, of course, we're using our imaginations, guys, that the has this had further updates? No, this has not since I believe it's 3.1. Is it now? Maybe it should say so on the tablet. Does it say so somewhere in here? Altimeter vibration sounds. Yeah, why not? No, I don't seem to think that there's a version number on the thing, but it is I can pull it up for you in Aerosoft later if you want. So okay, so what we need to do is actually, let me just run and grab my PDF checklists so that we can go through those properly. So let's go aviation documents. I have a huge library of PDFs for all sorts of different aircraft in the history I've flown, and so let's go down. DC, I go down my list of DCs. Here we go. Operation manual, checklists. Here we go. Checklists. We'll also need the V-speed cards. So let's open that in a different tab. Open in new tab. Yeah, and then open this in the checklist. Okay, so we've got the two. I've got the V-speeds and I've got the preparation, cockpit preparation checklist. So let's go down that quickly. Try to quickly. Logbook checked. Circuit breakers checked. The circuit breakers are in op in this aircraft as far as I'm aware. Gear handle, let's check that's down. Yep, that's down. Pneumatic crossfeed is open. We've got the two pneumatic crossfeeds are up, and the pneumatic crossfeed I think it's just up. No, could be. I'm pretty sure the. Yeah, pneumatic crossfeed up. Yeah, that's what that is talking to. Battery switch. Let's get that on. The battery switch is there, and we've got Christmas tree lights coming on here. Fire test. Let's do a fire test. I mean, it just says fire test, so. Fire test. I'm guessing it's just talking about general fire tests. So we could do the CVR test. Well, we could do the engines at least. We don't want to press those two. That destroys the engines. You know what? I can't remember what the fire tests are. It's been a while, but that's not essential to the running of the aircraft. So let's just say that we are not the first flight of the day. Electrical power checked. Right, so let's go have a look at the electrical power. Up in the top here, we should see so ground power. We do have ground power. Battery voltage is good. You can see we've got volts there. And there are a few amps trickling. No, there's not. Battery ampage, there you go. So the battery voltage and the battery ampage looks good. We apparently have external ground power available. That's great. Ground power on. Why not? So that's the electrical power. The emergency power checked and off. Yes, that's checked and off. Evac signals armed. Pretty sure that is the emergencies. There you go, that's armed. Emergency lights, no, that's it, checked and armed. Evac signals then. I'm not sure what evac signals. For the speed of life, I'm just going to roll over a checklist item that I can't remember where it is. Probe heat needs to be checked, so let's check the probe heat. Ah, yes. Rat probes off. Captain. Auxiliary. So let's go put the... Yeah, let's put the probe heat selector on captains. Windshield anti-ice. It's very warm today. We don't need anti-ice, so let's not worry about that. Anti-skid armed and checked. I always come down here because the F-28 anti-skid is down here, but that is not the case. Anti-skid. Is anti-skid way up here? Yaw damper. Anti-skid. Arm. We could test it. What's that going to do? Nothing, really, as far as I'm aware. But at least it is on arm. So, overhead test panel, checked. That's this test panel. Is it that one? Overhead test panel? Check. That looks like they all work, so... GPWS, checked. So the GPWS, is that up here again? Circuit breaker... GPWS... I'll find it in cruise at some point. I always do, that's the thing. And we can test it then. Cabin signs on and set, so let's go put those both on. Fuel pumps checked and set. So the fuel pumps are down here. The fuel cutoffs, they should be off, actually, for start. So let's leave them on off. The fuel pumps, other than that... yes, fuel pumps need to be all on up here. There we go. Flight and voice recorders set. We're not going to worry about that. External lights set. So for the external lights, we're going to put the navs on, where we've got the anti-collision off. We've got the probes off. The wings and nacelles we can turn on. And that should be good. At this point, we can say that the... yeah, that's all being closed up, so that's fine. Air conditioning needs to be set. We don't have air conditioning on at the moment, but I know the next thing after air conditioning is pressurization. So let's go to the pressurization. We're going to be flying up to 310 today. So let's set ourselves 310. I've also got some lunch for cruise, so as soon as we get into a stable cruise, I'll probably mute my microphone and have some lunch, so... 20, 22, 24. So, if I began flying this again quite regularly, I'd get much more proficient with it again. So 31 is there. And the climb ratio is going to be 7. And I'm going to set the barometric pressure, which is going to be the B key. And what is that pressure going to set me to? That's, QNH 1016. Actually, altimeter 3000. So we could actually... set, there you go. So, that is the pressurization set. Air conditioning auto shut-off arm. Air conditioning auto shut-off. That is in armed. Yeah, there you go. Annunciator panel and lights tested. I actually checked that. Radio equipment. Okay, so the radio equipment on VATSIM, we are currently Unicom, I believe. Yeah, we're Unicom, and we're actually the only aircraft on the ground at the moment. So we can just go 122.8 in the box. So let's go and not put that in nav. We need to put that in here. So it's 122.8 set, and we can turn these on. So that should be VHF COM 1. Let's just go to EU. No, that's not quite. There you go. One last click to that, and yeah, so it's 122.8. What have we got going on next? So rudder power needs to be powered. Where is the rudder power? I can go on normal and supply. Rudder power. Those are all, the AP servers are on, which they should be. Rudder power. I don't know where rudder power is. So let's just set my initial altitude at 8,000. Why are my brakes spamming away? Is it the wind? Is that what it is? Let's have a look. What's going on with my rudders again? What? I just set this. Why do I need to recalibrate this? Why did I need to recalibrate that? That's weird. Okay. Anyway, so rudder power, we said needs to be set to power. Is that your damper? We could get that on. Anti-skid armed. Rudder power. I don't know where else rudder power would actually be. Unless it's somewhere down here. Hydraulic pumps. We do need to turn on the hydraulics at some point, but I'll wait for the checklist. Floor lights. Flight. Okay, floor lights. No. Hydraulic power. Yeah, there you go. So the hydraulic power needs to come on to high. And we can arm the auxiliary. Okay, that's coming up into the green. That's good. So gear handle and horn lights checked. So the gear handle, horn light, gear handle release. Gear handle, horn light. Those were the fire tests we mentioned. So gear handle, warn lights, autopilot servos are on. We checked that. Crew stations and papers have been checked. O2 mask, yep, we did the oxygen. Takeoff warning checked. The takeoff warning. There you go. That's been checked. Parking brakes parked and set. So the parking brake pull to engage. Yep. Parking brake has been done. Horizons and compasses. So for the horizons and compasses, we are... What is our compass? Yo, where is our compass? Do we have a compass? Surely we have a compass. Of course, looking for the compass where the DC-9 should have a compass is not where the compass is. I'm going to say that's the... Is that the... This is about... Yeah, no, we're good. We're good. I'm going to press D. press D to sync that. Altimeter, yeah, we've set the altimeter as 1016. Stabilizer trim tabs. Okay, so this is where we need to do weights and balances and look at our actual horizontal stab trim. So the takeoff weight is in between, that's 21, that's about 21.5 for the takeoff weight. So we come down here and we look at 21, so it's in between 21 and 22. And let's say we want to take off with flaps 10. That's 3.9. I'd put that at 3.6. So what we do is we come down here and we go, that's about 3.6 there on the stab trim. And we remember that we want to take off with flaps 10. So aircraft log maintenance release checked. Fuel quantity and oil and hydraulic quantity we've checked. APU on and checked. Right, so we want to bring on the APU now. So we want to bring on the master. Let's go to start. If I can remember how to start the APU. That's not... Nothing's happening there. Right, so... Oh, that should be on norm. Fire agent. APU air can be off or on. Is there a reason why I am not getting an APU startup? Oh, has someone added some crap into... right, I'm going to delete that from Twitch or something. If you see if I can delete that. Add or block list in Restream chat. Yeah, that's evidently add to block list. I've just blocked that. Hopefully that disappears. Ian from the stream chat. That shouldn't. When people add crap to the stream, I just delete it. That very much looked like a spam message. Right. So let's see. What am I doing wrong? It's been a while. What am I doing wrong? So I've got ground power on. I've got the battery on. How do I start the APU? Did the battery die? No, don't know what that noise is either. Oh, we could turn the galley off. How am I to turn on the APU? What am I doing wrong here? Auto doors. Supply off. What am I doing wrong? It's as if electrical. No. Something's not right. I'm not sure why. Reset the APU gen. Why am I not getting an engaging? Has something? Let's add the pneumatic unit. See if that. No. That's very strange. So for some reason I can't start the APU, but I've added the pneumatic unit. Let's see if I can at least start engine 2, and see if I can do a non-APU start. So I'm gonna have to jump ahead slightly here. Stabilizer checked, takeoff data set, EPR bugs. Okay, so let's do EPR bugs next. Let's look at our takeoff weight is 88.1, so let's go through to the 88, which is closest to the 90,000, and our takeoff with flaps 10 is 141, 146, and 150. So I'm going to go 150 on the takeoff bug for V2. Set. The EPR bugs, how do I... Oh, hello. How do I do EPRs, if I can remember? How do I do EPRs? I can't quite remember. Oh, I know how. Right. You actually use this handy doohickey here. So static takeoff thrust is that. Maximum cruise, I believe, and flex takeoff. So I am happy I'll use actually EPR rat mode. I'll use static takeoff, which is 1.93, which will pop this up to 1.9. Let's say 1.9, just above 1.9 should be fine. So we'll just pop it up to 1.9 and then a little bit further. Say 1.92. That should be fine. Why I can't... 1.2 set. Okay, that's the EPR set. It's why on earth the APU is not working. If anyone has any ideas what I'm doing wrong, if it's as plain as the nose on my face, please call it out. But I currently can't think of anything I'm doing wrong here. I have electricity powering the aircraft. Anyway, let's go back. So APU, stabilizer, takeoff data, EPR bugs, and departure clearance. All right. So before start or departing the gate, galley power needs to be off. That's it. Doors closed. Auxiliary hydraulic pump is on. Anti-collision light. Let's put that on. That is here. Air condition supply switches off, which they are off up here. Let's just check. I need to be semi-available on my phone. Okay, so that's that. So after start, so checklist complete, and then the after start checklist is next. So what we're going to do is an engine start, and to do an engine start, we monitor these temps down here. So we've got the EPR, like we've seen. We've got, I believe this is N1 and N2, and then we've got our exhaust temperatures here, and then fuel quantity, and then fuel flows, and then oil quantities, oil temperatures, and oil pressures. Okay, so we're going to be watching N1 to begin with on number 2 specifically. So what we're going to do is we're going to, the fuel heat is on. What we want to do is ground start continuous. Let's put the start pump on and go ground start continuous, and bring in engine number 1. Oh no, N2 begins. And once we go above 10 to 15%, we can introduce fuel. Hydraulic pressure's coming up. Temperature's coming up. Oil, yep. Oil temperature and oil pressures are coming up. N1 is coming up. That's good. Hopefully, apparently it's just gone above the red line. Okay, let's just ignore the horrendously bad... Yeah, the oil temperature. Why is... No, sorry, the pressure. Why is the oil pressure way above red line? That can't be correct. Everything else looks like it's stabilized as it should. So, now what we can do is we need to take the pressure cart away from the rear left side of the aircraft. So we're going to have to do a cross bleed start. So we can... close that now. If I take away, yeah, you see, if I take away, yeah, that's going to go down quite far. So how can I do a cross bleed start? Well, the cross bleeds, yeah, the pneumatic cross feeds are on both sides, so let's see if I can actually just crank it as it is and see what happens. Yeah, that's not really cranking, is it? No. See, this is where the APU would have been handy. Oh no, the APU lives now. Look at that. The APU is coming online, and that's because we have engine pressure from the right. So let's turn off let's turn off the pressure drain from the left start, and let's wait for the APU now because that's apparently working. That is weird, but let's just double check. Our CPU heads are low 70s still. That's fine. Okay, the APU is, yep, it's coming up. And there we have APU, finally. Let's add that in, and let's bring out the ground power. Now we should have... No, that's not changed anything. If anything, that's actually... Yeah, there you go. So that's actually taken off. So, Ah, there you go. Yeah, yeah. There you go. That's added all the pressure we need for a left start now. So let's start the left. There we go. Watching the rest of the crank here up through about 1500. There you go. And let's watch the N1 is beginning to turn. Yeah, oil temperature's coming up. Oil pressure is coming up in the rise. Somehow it's way above red line, which I don't understand, but yeah, there's the exhaust temperature coming up through 40%. N1 is coming up. Yeah, so we've got a good gradual start on that. I'm just going to ignore the whole APU issue we just had. So total fuel on board is 19,000, which is good. Okay, so that's a good start on both. So let's close that guard, and now we can close off the APU air, and we can turn off the APU and close those, and we can recycle the gens. Right, so we now know that we have yeah, things are sufficient. Let's go auto on the air conditioning now. So let's go back. Yeah, air conditioning APU air is auto and off. Electrical power checked. Pitot and static heaters are on. Air, foil, and engine anti-ice as required. Pneumatic crossfeed set. It is set. We're happy to leave it as is. Annunciator panel lights checked. So the only thing we've got is inlet fuel pressure low. And then the radio fan can go on. Let's go the radio. There you go. We are good. I think we're good. So that's hydraulic pressure and pumps checked and high. And they are checked and high. So that is the after start checklist complete. Let's go to the taxi checklist. The APU is as required. The flight instruments have been cross-checked. So what we need is we're going to go up to an initial of 8,000. Let's go on with the no, that's the thingy. Let's go standby on the TCAS. Not TCAS. The Squawk. And what is our preferred runway? Our preferred runway is actually 09er because we have a wind from the southeast. So let's go 09er on the... it's actually 088. 088 set. And the outbound leg is 169 for our first VOR. So it's going to be VOR to VOR today. Well, that's the only thing there is in the DC-9. That's why you get the DC-9. So let's go 169 magnetic. Set. Okay, so that's pretty much ready to go. Transponder is set. Flight controls, let's check. Yeah. Flight controls are good. Basically ready for the before takeoff checklist. We just need to make a call on ATC, and away we go. Let's just make sure Volanta is tracking properly as well, because I like to track my flights. This is a DC-9 called. I actually don't even have this aircraft. Well done. I should have done this first. Let's make a new aircraft. Registration is is it in the aircraft? Okay, so there we go. Okay. So, folks, hope we're all good. Let me know in the chat if we are all good. We're going to make a call on Unicom and get pushed back from the gate. Yeah, we have no ATC online, so we're going to stand 15, push back, and taxi to runway 09. East Midlands traffic, Midlands 651 is pushing back from stand 15, taxiing to runway 09. East Midlands traffic. Okay, so that's that. Let's just bring off the parking brake and let's throw in reverse thrust. That's the way it's done, my loves. That's the way. This is the way. Okay. So, checklists. We did the taxi checklist, so we're good to taxi to the runway. Which is going to be out via Quebec. So yeah, Quebec Alpha to hold Golf. East Midlands traffic, Midlands 651 is taxiing Golf Alpha Golf to runway 09, East Midlands traffic. I'm going to just double check to make sure that, yeah, that is transmitting. Okay. Let's get the taxi light on, nose lights. Yeah, I suppose I am a little bit heavy, so. And remember, we want to set flaps 10. Now that she's going, she really does go. That's... So you can see the flaps. But there's no leading edge flaps. Okay, let's just leisurely make our way out here. So we've still got left inlet fuel pressure low. We need to turn that on for the... that's very important. Let's arm the speed brakes. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what these two are. Inlet fuel pressure. Maybe they disappear once I throttle up. I think that might be what happens there. Oh, that is a VATSIM aircraft. Okay. It's a 757. There's a Nimrod over there, behind the fence. I look forward to the Comet 4. Goodness me, I look forward to flying the Comet 4 when that is released. That's going to be a big flyer for me. Okay, so just having a look back at my checklist for the before takeoff checklist. Takeoff data has been checked. Cabin has been warned. Flight instruments and bugs have been set and checked. Flaps and slats have been set. Stabilizer trim has been set. Spoilers have been armed. Packs as required. So we have our packs on auto at the moment. Landing lights extend and on. And that wheel brake is still tripping me up. I was not supposed to grind to a halt there. And landing lights on, annunciators checked, except for those two. And annunciators are all fine. Oh, yeah, so before crossing the hold, I should stop. We are on VATSIM. Let's just double check what we got going on here. Yeah. East Midlands traffic, oh, completely forgot my call sign. Is Midlands. East Midlands traffic, Midlands 651 is taxiing onto runway 09er. Immediate departure south to Daventry VOR. I didn't say Midlands traffic on the end of that. It's weird calling my call sign is Midlands and the airport name is East Midlands, so it's a bit weird. Okay, let's get the strobes on. Oh, he's gone. That 757 has logged off.
Traffic TV34 established ILS for runway 15.
Okay, let's throttle up and see what happens to those annunciators.
TV345 final runway 15 Birmingham traffic.
Left inlet fuel pressure. Inlet fuel pressure. Oh. Duh. I was completely looking at that wrong. They were all off when they should have all been on. How are my engines working with all of the fuel pumps off? Well, I suppose they were sucking, but now they're working properly. Okay, so let's throttle up and hit our EPR. So EPR is set. A little bit over. Pull them back slightly. Okay, so power set. And airspeed alive. We've got a crosswind from the right, so let's begin adding in left rudder. And V2. Positive rate, gear up. Okay, let's just start trimming. And we can go flaps up. Right, let's go into heading hold. Heading hold is on, and we're going up at 2,000 feet per minute. Okay, so we want 16.4 in the box. 16.4 in the box, and we have it. Let's bring our heading now around. And the aircraft should start us turning. Yep. And let's turn through that so that we can attack it. Let's turn the pitch. Let's turn the pitch up. Yeah, we're about nose 10 degrees up. And there we go. So let's turn the nose light off. We don't need that anymore. Nice little screenshot there. What type of fuel? Jet A1, as far as I'm aware. Oh, no, I am way over speed. Let's just bring that back immediately. Way over speed. Let's go up by 4,000 feet a minute and bring that back to 250. And then once we hit 250, we go to IAS hold, which is about there. And let's set further climb. One set, and we're just watching to come onto this radial now. $9,000. And from this point we can now accelerate.
Vacated runway 15, taxiing Echo Delta Whiskey 6.
VOR lock now. Now we're on the radial. So what we want is max continuous thrust is above 1.9. Let's go 1.6 to be conservative. Bastinger. I really need to learn to fly VOR. It's really easy, actually. You can do it in a Cessna 172, no problem. If you want to be low and slow and pedestrian about it, and just to understand the basics and the core functionality. The difference between flying VOR to VOR navigation in a Cessna 172 versus a DC-9, it's exactly the same. It's just using your nav1 needle, or your ADI needle, in this case, and you plugging in the VOR frequency, and putting on the autopilot and turning it to nav, and yeah. The 172 is what I plan to use to learn. Yeah, that's good. Well, A2A Simulations hasn't released their C172 for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. I would like to hope that that's one of the next ones they want to release. They've not announced anything yet, but up through 16,000 feet. Are we pressurizing? Yes, we are. There you go. Pressure differential is up to 6.7. The cabin hasn't started rising yet, but I expect to see the cabin begin to rise at some point soon. I'll have to keep an eye on that. Why it's not, it's got pressure. It's got pressure. It's, I don't know. Yeah. So it has a climb rate, but it's not climbing. Again, bug. Fix, please. This is where I just start ignoring things that are wrong because, yeah. I think you can copy over the 2021 with all the VOR. Yeah, there's an add-on, a just flight add-on for the 172. The WB sim, or the WB 172, I think it was, that I used in a video a while back. I don't know if that's 2024 compatible yet, but it basically improves the default MSFS 172 quite substantially. With like engine health and engine management and all that fun stuff. So we are looking at 4 nautical miles to our waypoint, so we want to go 124 is our next. Let's go 124, so let's go over to heading now, and let's tune up the next VOR, which is 15.6. 15.6 set, and that is a 124 radial. We can essentially just go straight to VOR on that. No problem. Is the tuning for the VOR or the nav frequency? Yes. So, hang on, let me just turn the audio down slightly because it's quite loud on my ear. There we go. So, when I go to the nav1 box, now every aircraft has nav1, nav2, and com1 and com2. I hope you know what they are. But basically, in my nav1 box, I put the frequency of the VOR I want to fly to. And then you can see it should say the nautical mile towards that VOR. If it's a VOR DME, it should have the distance as well as the VOR component. So it should have a DME, a distance readout, nautical miles. That's how far I am away from the VOR, and that should count down. Yep, you see that's counting down. And then I should have like a needle. In a Cessna 172, the needle swings from left to right like this, on an kind of angled. In this aircraft, the needle swings like this without actually pivoting from the top, okay? And basically you set the course of the inbound track to the VOR, and mine is 124. So if I go to my nav tool, so I know that this leg I want to fly here, it says magnetic of 124, and you can see the aircraft there has actually acquired that inbound radial to the VOR and is flying all the way down it. And as soon as we get close to it, we then tune up the next one. I can also show you that if the next one is too far away and you can't pick up the next one yet, you can fly an outbound radial on the one behind you that you've just passed to a point where you can then pick up the next one. So it's essentially a leapfrog, join the dots. You have to manually tune each new waypoint on the flight plan to make it work. But this is what they used to do. So yeah, it's basically an ILS. It is basically exactly the same as an ILS. Yeah, exactly. In fact, when you don't have an ILS approach, and sometimes in the charts it says there's a VOR DME approach, that's exactly what we're doing now. You tune up, because they'll have a VOR at the end of the runway, and you basically just tune that VOR frequency, and then you fly a radial towards that VOR, and you basically pretend it's like an ILS, except that a VOR DME approach doesn't have the glide slope element, right? So all you have is the localizer into the VOR, and then the VOR DME, the DME set part of that title means distance. So the VOR is going to give you that distance information, which I just showed you. And the chart should tell you, okay, at 6 nautical miles, you should be, let's say, 2,000 feet in altitude. And then at 5 nautical miles, you should be at 1,700 feet altitude. And then at 4 nautical miles, so it gives you a kind of, a join the dots approach of, okay, so when you look at, oh, why did that needle just change? Oh, okay, so that's nav2. My nav2 needle, no, is it? Why did my nav1 needle just fly off to the left? Oh, okay, I think there are... Oh, by the way, I should have put my transponder on alt. Goodness me. My mistake. Lol. Yeah, now it's on squawk mode, Charlie. Let's go 1200. Yeah, let's go 1200 actually. On the squawk. Yeah, so I don't know what's happening with my. I think it may be because the frequency. Yeah, there you go. So I just changed the nav2 frequency to a different frequency. Yeah, there you go. Let's just change it again, so that right. So when there's no frequency active that it's picking up, the needle should always go horizontal. But it's nav1. Usually nav1 is the nav1 is the single needle. The double needle is nav2. So I just changed the frequency there, and the nav1 needle went. So maybe I am actually using nav2. Maybe this is nav2 on the side, but then COM1 is set to 122.8, so it would infer that this is nav1 if COM1 is here. So yeah, this particular aircraft, I'm going to say, is not the most easiest one to learn the fundamentals of of non-GPS navigation, because there are weird isms and weird bugs, which are probably bugs. I have to be honest. I'm just flying it for the love of flying a vintage aircraft, so... so 9 nautical miles to Lambourne. Yeah, bugs don't help to learn for sure. Exactly, exactly. One excellent aircraft, which is very similar to this, that you could pick up, is the
Keeper traffic, Singapore 322, slowing down to 200 knots, just for separation with the A320 in front of us.
Why have we gone... Why have we leveled out at 290? It shouldn't level out at 290. Oh, okay, it's because we maybe hit a huge tailwind all of a sudden, and that completely bled our speed. I'm not sure. Right, so outbound from Lambourne, let's go the Dover VOR, which is 1495. Let's put that in nav 2. 1495, and you'll see what happens. 95. Okay. So, yeah, so we've not picked up Dover yet because the Dover needle isn't working. Yeah. So, and we've just we've gone overhead Lambourne, so we're going to go outbound on 121 from Lambourne. So I've just gone back to heading hold, so the aircraft is on heading hold, and we'll just watch the needle. Once you fly directly over a VOR, the needle gets very erratic because the signal is coming directly from below you. You kind of need to always be a couple of miles away from a VOR laterally. You kind of need to be a little bit... You can't be right above a VOR. It never gives you a good signal. And that's like... That happens in real life. So you need to give it a few miles. Yeah, and then the needle will settle down again. And then you can go back to nav hold. So let's go back to nav hold. There we go, VOR. And now we're going outbound on the radial. The aircraft is going to track that radial again. It knows that the VOR's behind us, or it should, instead of in front of us, and we're doing an outbound track instead of an inbound track on that radial. So we can use the radial on the other side of the VOR going away just the same way as we did coming in, which is kind of fun. I should probably go, yeah, to that nav mode now, maybe? And when you're acquiring a VOR radial, the aircraft will always wiggle, left to right a little bit, because that's how the aircraft is acquiring that radial. It needs to kind of feel for where the edge of the radial is and where the other edge of the radial is to be able to kind of properly lock on to that inbound route. So always expect when you tune a VOR radial and you engage, the autopilot might wiggle back and forwards a little bit when it acquires, and you can see that usually on your nav tool. For instance, yeah. So for instance here, look, when I passed over this radial, this VOR, I tuned the next one, and the aircraft turned. And then came inbound, crossed over the radial, and then came north of it slightly, and then gradually got more and more accurate as it came in. So you can see, and again, you see there's a little bit of a wiggle there, and it would just, it's very slight. But again, this is pre-GPS aviation. This is not as accurate as a GPS aircraft would be today. Okay, right, we're coming up to cruise. The aircraft, let's level out in cruise now. Let's go V speed, and let's go VSI. Let's go to 200 on the VSI. Oh, and we should be on 1013 as well, which we have now set on both sides. Forgot about that. Candy for my brain, good to hear. There's tons of videos on my YouTube channel going back years of me flying non-GPS aircraft. on VATSIM and on offline as well. So hopefully they can be of help. Just go and look at the just go and have a look at the playlists of different aircraft. There we go, VSI to 0, and we are now in cruise. So we're just going to monitor the situation. We're going to monitor the cruise speed. We could pull the EPR back to 1.8. I think that's fine for the moment. And we'll just see how we go. And the tanks are still draining as they should. The center tank should drain first, I believe, and then the side tanks should then continue to drain. But there we are. So yeah, we've not picked up the Dover VOR still, which is weird because 14. Oh, of course, so we didn't set it correctly. 1495. There we go. Okay, so the Dover VOR is now active. But what we need, actually, we need to plug that into 1495. So let's put that in here. Let's do it that way. Okay, so we've just changed the VOR. So we go, let's just recycle that. Let's go to the turn knob and let's go back to the VOR, and it just recycles the autopilot to the new frequency that I've just plugged in. And so it's going to follow that inbound to Dover. And again, like you see, it's going to wiggle slightly. And I should put the alt hold on the ND selector. And we've got a contrail here, which is good. Yeah, the aircraft's going to wiggle around a little bit as it reacquires that new radial. And the Dover VOR is actually just out here on the coast. Just about here. Where is it? It's just about where my mouse pointer is there. So yeah, the aircraft's going to wiggle slightly and then acquire that and fly over it. And also remember that VORs, the signal from a VOR can sometimes be blocked by a mountain. So if you're flying down low and you're trying to tune into a VOR frequency and follow a radial frequency to a VOR, but it's on the other side of a mountain range, you might not pick up that frequency. You might have to be higher in order to pick up that VOR frequency. That's something when you're doing cross-country IFR you kind of have to be aware of if you're really down low to the terrain. I did say that once we were in cruise, I was going to have my lunch. So it is almost 1 o'clock. So I am going to mute my microphone. And if anyone has any questions, pop them in the chat, and I can actually just I can simply add them. I could just message back in text, and that should be fine. What I will do before I do anything else, just before I go off, I'm going to go back to heading hold, and I am then going to go outbound from Dover, which is going to be a magnetic of 117, which is there. Let's just go 117. So now we're 5 nautical miles, almost 6 nautical miles outbound of the Dover. We're flying south, and the Dover VOR is now behind us. Yep, so there we go. We're going outbound. You see the needle is now pointing behind us instead of in front of us. So that's that. And 114. Okay, so we're good. We're good now. We could probably go back to the VOR lock. And there we go. So we're also, because the DC-9 doesn't actually have alt hold, every now and then we just need to whack in a little bit of climb in the VSI selector and bring us back up to our altitude. And there we go. And I'm going to pause track IR. And there we go, guys. So we're flying outbound now, and we've got an 18 knot tailwind, and we're flying towards the coast of France. And there is an A350 Air France Air France at 22,000 feet and climbing coming up behind us. So we might actually see that. Anyway, I'll leave the view in this kind of position while I eat, and thanks for the knowledge. Gonna run a route on air. No worries. Yeah. Any other questions? Just come back and ask. This kind of flying is what I love, and I've been flying like this for years, and I hope that VATSIM controllers still allow people to fly vintage in a vintage fashion like this more, because it provides good variation. Yeah, just sub on the YouTube channel, and if you want Discord, actually, if you want to come and jump on the Discord, I can throw the Discord invite link in the chat. Copy. There you go. Okay, I'm gonna mute my microphone and eat some lunch. Okay. That's me back. That's me back. Okay, so we are a few miles. Okay, yeah. So we've actually gone out of range of the VOR behind us. So let's go to the VOR in front of us, which is Luxembourg, which is 1225. Oh, there we go. Okay. Recycle that. And we're slightly above our altitude, so let's just come down. There we go. And there we go. So we just continue flying like this. And we do appear to have some ATC. We have Padova. So this is us. And we will come into Padova. And actually, Venice has an ATIS. So we'll have some air traffic control bringing us into Venice, which would be nice. So we'll watch out for that. But there might be an airspace in between here and there that might pop up with a regional controller, and then they'll just ping us and we can talk with them. Everything seems to be going well so far. I mean, as things go, the Sky Simulations DC-9 is usable. But for the price you pay for it, it's still not worth the money. It still needs more significant bug squashing and updating before it becomes, I think, worthy of the price tag. Sadly, but there we go. I'm just eating a Snickers because why not? Yeah, 40 nautical miles inbound to Luxembourg. So, Dustinger, if you're still around, This is what I was talking to you about earlier on. You can see that there's all sorts of ILS approaches, but look at this, VOR Runway 04. If I click on that, it tells you, look, tune this VOR and fly down on a radial of 038 towards the airport, and you start at DME 15.2 nautical miles out at 3,000 feet. When you get to DME 11.2, you begin your 3-degree glide slope down. Now, of course, this isn't automated. You have to do this manually. Start a 3 degrees downwards track. At distance 7 DME, you should be 1,650 feet. At distance 5, you should be 1,010. And then at distance 2.5, that's your go around. That's your minimum decision altitude, MDA. And then you continue from there in distance 2.5 is kind of the threshold. Minimum is 2.5 there. Yeah, so that kind of gives you a side profile of the approach and a lateral oh, there's someone at the door. Hang on. There we go. That was just a parcelman. That was Amazon. My wife buying things, as wives are wont to do. Right. So what was I saying? Yeah, VOR approaches. They're a thing. Okay, so we're about to cross over 6 nautical miles to Luxembourg. So let's get the next. Let's see, does the next one work? Let's just go over to heading hold. 1505. No, we're not in range of that one. So let's go back to what we were on, which is... I can't see it now because I'm right over the top of it. 39. It was 12.25. Okay, so yeah, so we now need to be 139 outbound. So we can do that. Let's just move through that. Kevin, afternoon. I think it's almost there, RE, the price. It just needs the sounds to be reworked and that VOR ADF selector orientation on the ADI gauge to be fixed, in my opinion. Yes, I remember you talking about that last time, yeah, and I agree. There are a number of things. Like, if you watch the beginning of my stream, for some reason, the APU just refused to boot up. And it wasn't like I was doing something wrong. I had to boot up the right engine with the pneumatic pressure cart. And then after booting up the right engine, I was then able to boot up the APU. And then using the APU, I was able to start engine number 1. So it was a really weird startup sequence. But it's not, something's, yeah. Hmm. Oop. We're a little bit high now. Let's just drop down slightly. We're actually going about Mach 0.81, which is quite good. Maybe I'm burning a lot more fuel than I need to, actually, but I'm having fun doing it, so yeah. About 1.7 on the EPR. Oh, blew through the altitude because I wasn't watching. Let's go up. There we go. Pause track IR. And there we go. I'm just over halfway now. Still can't see any more ATC in between us and the Venice Padova control or Padova radar. We might hear some Italian accents. So 15 nautical miles outbound from Luxembourg. Let's go 1505 again on the right hand side. Let's go 1505. See if we can pick that up. No, we're not picking that up. That's Strasbourg. Yeah, for some reason we're not picking that up at all. No. Strange. Well, we'll just blow straight through it and look for Zurich East, which is the next one is 10:05. Interesting. Yeah, this is the thing with flight sim. Sometimes VORs in the sim are not. For some reason, I see them on little nav map and I tune them up, but I'm not picking them up. So maybe the VORs that little nav map represents aren't quite the same exact ones that the sim has in the sim database. I do try to keep the databases synced properly, but I may have screwed it up some while back in installing some mod or something. So we're just going to basically pretend that they're there and fly as if we're flying to them because we're on VATSIM and I want to be accurate to my flight plan. Going overhead Strasbourg soon. I think here, is it? Somewhere over here or a bit further along? Not quite sure. What are you looking at? Right, so we've lost Strasbourg, so we might as well just go heading hold until we pick something new up. So let's just go over to heading hold for the moment. And 1505, let's try 1505 on this side. Nope. 1005. Oh, nope. Huh. Nope, we don't pick those up. So what's the next one after that? The next one after that is Vic. That's a pain. That's a pain in the backside. Maybe it's because of mountains. Zurich is starting to get a little bit hilly at that point. But we'll just go Vic. Or of course I'm not going to be able to pick up Vic because it's on the other side of the Alps. So that's 13.4. What? What's going on there? I'm definitely more than 55 nautical miles away from... Am I? No, that's far further than that. Let me just do a QDM range and... Yeah, that's 125 nautical miles away, not 57. What are we doing here? We've evidently got some frequency mismatches going on in Europe. Yes. We're just going to fly based off of what I can see. You're right, the VOR database in the sim is completely wrong. I've pulled in the FSX database that corrects the ranges. Okay. Yeah. I'm just going to use my moving aircraft icon on little nav map, and I'm going to basically fly the route based off that. But it's yeah, it's a bit strange. Yeah, there's the Luxembourg airport, and the Luxembourg VOR is just south of it. So that's where it was. We just passed over that. Again, 11045. Sorry, 11050. Why is it I can now pick that up? Oh no, that's that one. Hang on a second. How is it that I can pick that up on nav 1 or nav 2 and it's not... Oh. Yeah. I'm an idiot. That's why. So 137. No, 13. What is it? 134 is. There we go. I was just being a fool. Got the frequency wrong. Okay, so in looking at the ILS approaches to Venice, I'm happy to go an ILS Zulu, or Lock Zulu, which is 109.95 and a 039 heading. Minimum altitude to start the approach is 3,000 feet at a distance, and the glide begins at 11.2. So we'll probably want to come in at Laren, which is another. That's ICAF. What is that? Kizaf is 15.2 nautical miles. To what is that? To Tess. No, this is VTS. No, it's not Tess. VTS. So it's 13. Yeah, that's 13.4. So Kizaf is 13.4 nautical miles. Add another 4.2, which is 4, 5, 6. That's 13, 14, 15, 16. 13, 14, 15, 16. 17.6. So it's 17.6 nautical miles down that localizer is Laren. We could be at 4,000 at Laren at that point, and then as long as we're established on that localizer, we want to then make sure that we're at 3,000 by Kizaf to begin the ILS. So that's what I'm expecting the controller to give us. So what are we now? 32 nautical miles away from Zurich East. So the main tank has now been depleted, and the left and the right tanks. So we could actually turn off the fuel pumps of the center tank now. And yeah, so the cabin did eventually rise at some point. So the cabin is at about 6,100 feet altitude with a pressure differential of... No. The inside is the pressure differential. Yeah. So the inside is a pressure differential of 7.45, and the cabin altitude is just over 6,000 feet. I ignore this because it's just broken. The more I try and fly this thing, the more I think the whole thing's just broken. It's just, and the dev is just chasing his tail, trying to fix things, and then more things are breaking. I don't know. So we're 18 nautical miles away from Zurich East. Yeah, I think the Zurich airfield is... Oh, there it is, yeah. That's the Zurich airfield, right there. Very kind of odd runway layout at Zurich. Not terribly conventional, but probably dictated to by the restrictions of the terrain. And, yeah. Cool. And we have the Alps looming up ahead. So we're going to go outbound from Zurich East on a radial of 130. And has there been any ATC contact us since then? No, there's not. So we're just looking at Padova radar.
Zurich traffic, Edelweiss 230 at stand, Alpha 44, push and start, facing west.
That's Zurich, I think. 8 nautical miles outbound, so let's get ready for the next change. So we're going to go 130. Let's go heading hold. 130 set, and we'll wait for crossing over. We're just almost crossed over now, because remember, that DME reading is also reading the vertical distance from the VOR. It doesn't detract the vertical distance. So as you pass over the top of the VOR at cruise altitude, you know, and it reads no less than 5 nautical miles as you cross over. It's because you've got the altitude to count for as well, and that's why. Okay, yeah, 4 nautical miles. So it will never go any lower than 4 because, again, we're at 31,000 feet, and that's why. So if I just jig to the left ever so slightly and wait for that VOR frequency, there you go, it's come back. Now that we've come away from the... Basically, directly above a VOR is a dead zone. It's like a cone of death, where you don't actually pick up any meaningful signal. Any radial signal, that is. So... But now we've flown a little bit a ways, 5-6 nautical miles now. We could actually re-engage the VOR lock, like so. And again, like I said earlier on, the aircraft's going to weave around a little bit as it acquires that radial frequency going outbound. And then the next VOR, of course, is VIC, which stands for Vicenza. Vicenza, I think. So. Okay, so. Looking forwards here, we're going to need to contact 127.25. We could do that now. Yeah. Yeah, COM2 is 127.25, but we're not picking up any... Yeah, it's this one here. We're not picking up any frequency off that yet. Can I change? Actually, can I monitor that? Did that do anything? Nope. I don't know. We'll change to it when we get a little bit closer, as we get over these mountains. Let's just tune 13.4 on the nav2 so that we can see the needle come alive when we come into the range of Vicenza VOR. And Commonly known as the cone of confusion. Yes. Yes, indeed. Unless you're expecting it, and then it's not the cone of confusion. What would you call it then if you were expecting it? The cone of boredom? Looks like it's set to rain. Oh yes, we're set to have lightning in about an hour. Interesting. And then lightning again at 7 and 8 p.m. And then 10, 11 p.m. Yeah, we're supposed to get thunder. So it's kind of mounting up to be a... the cone of expectation. That's a good one. I like that one. The cone of expectation. Or you could call it the cone of silence, because it is silent from any radial frequency. Yeah. Okay, so... not much more UK ATC has come online. Okay, Scotland's come online. Got Edinburgh and Amsterdam's online. Ba gum. Just turn off Atlanta. That's fine. Yeah, we're almost into his airspace. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Okay, right, let's contact him. So that is 127.25. Let's just double check. 120. Okay, and we call him Padova Radar. Good afternoon, Padova Radar. This is Midlands 651 with you, flight level 310.
Ciao baby, 651 Padova. Identified, Squawk 1000.
Squawk 1000, Midlands 651.
And Tomjet 6 Kilo Hotel reaching top of descent in 11 miles.
Tomjet 6 Kilo Hotel, second.
Tomjet 6 Kilo Hotel reaching top of descent.
Tomjet 6 Kilo Hotel, descent flight level 210.
Descent flight level 210, Tomjet 6 Kilo Hotel.
Super 990, monitor Unicom 128, ciao.
Speed 990, contact Unicom 122.9, thank you.
Ryanair 2782, descent flight level 90.
Flight level 90, Ryanair 2782.
Allora, radar Italia 4805 di for taxi.
Okay.
Ryanair 2782, stop descent flight level 110.
Say again, Ryanair 2782.
Ryanair 2782, stop descent flight level 110.
Stop descent 110, Ryanair 2782.
Baby 651, clear the direct Albet. Then clear the Albet 2 echo arrival for ILS Zulu 04 right.
Say again for 651.
Baby 651, fly direct to Albet, Alpha Lima Bravo Echo Tango.
A direct Albert for baby 651. Right.
Baby 651, clear the Albert 2 Echo arrival, expect ILS Zulu, runway 04 right.
04 right. Cleared approach Albert 2 Echo for runway 04 right, baby 651.
Padova Radar, Italia 480 ready
Okay,
for
so he's given me star of Albert
Italia
2
4805,
Echo.
taxi to holding point Alpha, runway 04 right.
No,
via
I
Victor,
can't do.
Mike, Whiskey Tango.
I can't. He's given me what I can't do.
Runway 04 right via Whiskey, Quebec, Mike, Juliet and Tango for Italia 405.
Put over radar, Ryanair 2302, flight level 360, inbound LIPZ.
He's not looked at my...
Ryanair 2302, Padova identified, descent flight level 350. Clear the Albert 2 Echo arrival, expect ILS Zulu, runway 04 right.
Descent flight level 240 and expect 24 right, Ryanair 2302 on the... You did say the arrival, bear with. It's the Albert 2 Echo arrival, 04 right, Ryanair 2302.
Hello, radar, this is from 39 on flight level 410.
Tomjet 6 Kilo Hotel, descent flight level 210, rate of descent 2,500 feet per minute or greater.
Descent 210 and confirm rate of descent.
2,500 feet per minute.
2,500 feet per minute, Tomjet 6 Kilo.
Reference 39 Romeo, set SWAC mode Charlie. Correction, set transponder mode Charlie, transponder SWAC 7536.
Setting transported mode Charlie for 7536.
And put over radar, BMI baby 651 does not have GPS. If you just check out flight plan, are we able to do a non-RNAV approach?
Baby 651, expect vectors for ILS Zulu, runway 04 right.
Expect vectors for 04 right, baby 651. Thank you very much. Okay, so he knows now.
Ryanair 6 Quebec Juliet, taxi to holding point Alpha, runway 12, via Tango, correction via Zulu, Tango November and Tango.
Taxi holding point Alpha via Zulu Tango, holding point Alpha, Ryanair 6 Quebec Juliet.
Yeah, Kevin, but I'm not gonna worry about that. He's an Italian controller. He doesn't know, so I'm not gonna worry about that right now. A UK controller might be more aware of that, but
Baby 651, confirm proceeding to Albert.
we will fly direct Albert now if it's a VOR. Thanks for 651. Albert.
Baby 651, my apologies. Fly to Vicenza, VOR, Victor India Charlie, then expect vectors for ILS 204 right.
We can fly direct to Victor India Charlie, and then we'll do vectors from there on, baby 651. Okay, 340, 13...
Padova Radar, Italia 405, holding point Alpha, runway 04 right, ready for departure.
13-4, there we go.
Italia 4805, runway 04 right, clear for takeoff, wind 140 degrees, 5 knots.
Che for takeoff on the 04 right, copy wind, grazie Italia 405.
BMI 651, descent flight level 160, rate of descent 2,500 feet per minute.
Descend flight level 160, rate of descent 2,500 feet per minute, BMI 651.
Stay about 659 way back.
River 659, thank you. Monitor Unicom 128, ciao.
Cheers, my Unicom 122.8, 659, ciao ciao.
Runway 2782, descent flight level, correction descent altitude 2500 feet, QNH 1021. The above will clear the RMP runway 12. Report on final established.
2500 feet, QNH 1021 and cleared for RMP approach 12 and report when established. Ryanair 2782.
Right. I'm probably going to be able to pay attention to chat less and less here, guys, as I take vectors from this guy. But we're now in the descent, 2,500 feet per minute, still on standard barometric pressure. Coming down through flight level 285 in the descent. So let's have a look now at my approach checklist, or I went through the climb and descent. Here's the descent checklist. Ignition, it should be on.
Italia 4805, identified, climb, flight level.
I believe that's ignition. Pressurization set and checked. We can bring that down now to
France 3,
to 0.
Romeo.
EPR bugs set.
Responded mode, Charlie. Set SOC 7536.
Yes, we need to fix something. Give us 5 minutes, please.
Okay, hydraulic pumps on and checked. Landing weight and data.
Zulu runway 12, clear for takeoff, wind 0 degrees, 1 knots.
What we will do, we'll make a calculation for that soon. Landing weight data, engine and airfoil anti-ice as required. Windshield anti-fog as required. Passing 1800, altimeters to, that's an American.
Tomjet 6
ism. So let's go and do the landing weight. So what do we got here? Active weights. So the zero weight is
3302, descent flight level 170.
The zero fuel weight is 69.7. 69.7.
BMI 651, descent flight level 130.
Descent flight level 130, BMI 651.
With 238, monitor Unicom 128. Ciao.
Monitor Unicom, ciao. Reserve the chase.
With 4 Tango Rome, monitor Unicom 128. Ciao.
So that's about 70,000 pounds landing weight. I'm saying about 69.7. Oh no, sorry, 69. That's 74.
7521, monitor Unicom.
That's going to be about, okay, landing with 50. 30. Let's do landing flaps 30. With the landing flaps 30 at that gross weight is going to be an approach speed of 129 knots.
Runway 2302, clear direct Albert.
129 knots set, so that's the bug for the approach speed. And that is the descent checklist complete. And once we go down through 10,000 feet, we'll go lights on.
Ryanair 2302. Thank you very much.
We're still quite
6 kilo hotel, descent flight level 110
We're still
to reach at
quite high.
100 till, say again, Tomjet 6 kilo.
Tomjet 6 kilo hotel, descent flight level 110 to reach
12 nautical miles to run. It's we're still very high.
100 till rotor, Tomjet 6 kilo.
Tomjet 6 kilo hotel, confirm level 110.
We could go and do a holding pattern overhead, Charlie Hotel India, to the south of the airport. We could do a holding pattern to bleed airspeed, bleed altitude.
Walk 4712, climb flight level 350.
712, climb 350, Finway 64.
Baby 651, leave Vicenza VOR on heading 180.
Leave the VOR on heading 180, BMI 651.
Italia 4805, clear direct Rocky.
Okay, so 180, he's turning us away from the airport in 5 nautical miles, which makes sense. That's what I would do. So, good for him. Yeah, he's going to take us all the way down south, probably. So basically, he's from this VOR, he's routing us down south.
Radova radar, Eurowings 33 November, good day, flight level 350, inbound Resia.
Ryanair 2782, cleared to land
Okay, so we're now going heading mode on, engaged, turning due south. Continuing down through flight level 160. And we can now actually...
Ryanair 6 Quebec Juliet identified, climb
10995.
Climb flight level 320.
Climb flight level 320, Ryanair.
And that is...
Tomjet 6 Kilo Hotel, monitor Uniform 122.8.
122.8, Tomjet 6 Kilo Hotel, thank you.
Airwings 33 November, Padova, ciao, identified.
39 set.
33 November, Padova radar, good day.
Coming down through 14,000.
651, descent 6,000 feet, QNH 101, correction, 101, apologies, 1020.
Descend 6,000 feet, QNH 1020, BMI 651. Okay, down to 6,000 on local barometric pressure of 1020. Coming down through 10,000 feet now, very quickly, down to 6,000, and let's hit the B key, and that's hit the local QNH just fine.
2302, descent flight level 130.
Yeah, descending flight level 130.
Okay, he's doing his best to bring us down promptly. Yep.
Finnair 8864, clear the direct Talib.
Okay, fine, whatever. Okay, this is happening, guys. We'll see how this aircraft handles on approach. I remember it was horrendously elevator sensitive, so we'll see. So coming down through 10,000 feet is going to be exterior lights as required and fasten seatbelts, etc., etc. So coming down through 11,000, let's just get that on now so that the passengers are prepared. And in an effort to be more prepared, let's get those lights on before we need them. And we didn't actually need the wing nacelles, but...
Baby 651, turn left, heading 120.
Turn left, heading 120, baby 651. Set.
Ryanair 2302, descent flight level 110.
There's the ILS.
Descent flight level 110, Ryanair 2302.
He thinks he can bring me in time. I think he's right. I think he's got it. Down through, what were we? 6,000 feet, he said. So we needed a level at 6,000, remember? Let's set a decision height of 200 feet. Coming down through 8,000 feet. 2,000 to go.
Baby 651, descend 5,000 feet.
Descend 5,000 feet, baby 651. So down to 5,000 feet. And, yeah, no, he's doing it. He's doing it. Props to him. He's doing a good job. So before landing checklist, might as well do that now. Cabin sides are on. Fuel supply, pumps and heat. Yeah, fuel is fine. We actually bang on the fuel, thankfully. Good thing we added a little bit extra there. Altimeters have been set and cross-check. Engine anti-ice
Baby
is...
651, speed 230 knots.
Speed 230 knots, baby 651. So basic.
Air France 39 Romeo, monitor Unicom 128, ciao.
Monitor Unicom 122 decimal late and sorry for the squawk inconvenience, bye bye.
So he said 230, so we need to be right down. Let's actually bring in...
Air Italia 4805, cleared direct south of.
Che direct sotto for Air Italia?
Oh, yeah. Idiot. Idiot. Oh, of course, such an idiot.
Runner, buon pomeriggio, Academy 001 con voi.
Baby 651, turn left, heading 070, clear the Zulu, runway 04 right, report established.
Turn left, heading 070, cleared ILS 04 right, and will report established. Baby 651.
Ryanair 6 Quebec Juliet, clear direct Barpi.
Clear direct Barpi, Ryanair 6 Quebec Juliet.
Academy 001, Padova, ciao. L'H1020.
Okay, this is where the rubber hits the road, guys. On the speed brake.
Academy 001 Padova, Roger, scenda a 1500 piedi o inferiori per non interessare il CTR, correzione dello spazio aereo di Venezia, e può riportare Cavarzere.
Riporteremo Cavarzere scendendo a 1500, Academy 001.
Let's go flaps 10. Yeah, he's given me a good long run on the ILS, 22 nautical miles. There's the approach. Let's go ILS and see the aircraft. And once we're established. We've got a Cessna Caravan off our left-hand side at some point. Below us. I can't see it though, visually. And established a 04 right for baby 651.
Baby 651, runway 04 right, clear to land, wind 150 degrees, 5 knots.
Clear to land, runway 04 right, baby 651.
And baby 651, free speed now.
Free speed, thanks. Okay. Right, actually guys, this is the point where you just go full manual in this aircraft.
2302, descend 5,000 feet, QNH 1020.
QNH 1020 and descend 5,000 feet, Ryanair 2302.
But if handled correctly, you can actually fly this pretty stably. It's a pretty stable aircraft. Despite the elevator wobble, he's passing right below me. Can't see him against the terrain though. And let's reduce speed and think about more flaps in gear. We want to get stable sooner rather than later. I would rather not muck this up. Okay, we're on perfect glide and localizer. So just bleeding some speed. At 200 knots we can put the gear down. And the wind is pretty chill actually. The wind is only, we've got 1 knot from behind us. Looks like it's probably going to be almost dead calm as we land. There's altitude, that's fine. Let's go, let's take gear down. And let's take the nose light on. There's the gear down, and let's continue. Let's bring flaps 25, no 20. Flaps 30 is what we're going to land with, so we're still okay. Just modulating, remember these old steel heavy airliners. Thrust, power is your friend in the approach. Pitch for power. You want to modulate your thrust just as much as your elevator for descent rate. Okay, we're a little bit on the low. We're 1 dot below, so let's bring the nose up ever so slightly, increase power, and we'll gradually come back on that profile. And localizer's still looking good. Oh, yeah, we're getting a bit of a tailwind bump here, a bit. Still one dot below, so we do need to get back on profile sooner rather than later. There you go. Oh.
Follow radar, Sunny Transavia 30 Mike, ready, push and start.
Transavia 30 Mike, push and start approved, facing east. QNH 1019er.
1019er, push start approved, facing east. Transavia 30 Mike.
Transavia 30 Mike, QNH 1020.
1020, roger.
Okay, 160 knots, let's go flaps 30. That's our final flap setting, and we are slightly off the localizer, so let's just... There we go, coming closer to our final approach speed now. The wind is kicking us around a little bit, it's kind of back quarter, so... Just continuing to watch that, watching my instruments and watching my profile out the window. We're a little bit through the localizer on the other side, so let's just bring it back to the left. Woof! The wind is buffeting. The wind is buffeting. Let's hold 140 knots here. If you remember, 129 knots was our final approach, so 140 is fine. We can afford to hold 10 knots in reserve in case the wind does something weird.
Radar, what's the transition level here, Ryanair 2302?
Ryanair 2302, transition level 70.
Thank you very much. 70 transition, Ryanair 2302.
A little bit high now, so again trying to get the correct pitch. Trying to get the correct pitch here. And the wind is kind of buffeting a little bit. Yeah, I think I'm hanging in there though. I'm hanging in there correctly. Gear is down, 3 greens. Flaps are 30 set. Speed brake is armed.
Academy 001 Padova, Roger, riporti Altedo. 2000 piedi o inferiori.
Riporteremo al tempo, 2000 inferiori e Academy 001.
That's looking like an okay profile to me. Yeah, on speed, yeah, two whites, 2 reds. Okay, so we're now gonna transition from watching the instruments to watching out the window. Glide slope, that's okay, I'm going visual now. A little bit low, let's come up, let's just watch the pappies, not worry too much about what the glide... Okay, continue.
Finnair 8864, monitor Unicom 122.8, ciao.
Okay, have a great day,
Aero Italia 4805, monitor Unicom 122.8, ciao.
Monitor Unicom 122.8, ciao ragazzi, me ne buona giornata, alla prossima.
Ciao.
Woo! That nose came down so quickly. Did you see that there? Again, I think this thing needs proper tweaks.
Clear direct Laren. Via Laren, clear the left Zulu, runway 04 right. Report established.
Did you say direct Laren or cleared 04 right? Which one?
Proceed to Laren and then clear the ILS Zulu, runway 04 right.
Right. After landing, spoilers retracted, flaps set, air conditioning set. Landing lights retracted and off. Pneumatic crossfeed is open. Transponder can go on standby.
Direct Laren and
Anti-skid
clear
off.
04 right. Sorry about that. I have to just check with the FMC source. Ryanair 2302.
Ryanair 2302, no problem. Continue descent 5,000 feet, please.
Oh.
Send it 5,000 feet, Ryanair 2302.
I guess he's just assuming that I do what I want on the ground. Then no one else is around, I'm just going to do my thing.
Ryanair 6 Quebec Juliet, monitor Unicom 122.8, ciao.
122.8 for you, Ryanair 6 Quebec Juliet, thank you, bye.
AB651, taxi to stand 327, via Kilo and Mike.
Taxi stand 327 via Kilo and Mike, baby 651. Kilo Mike 327. Okay, I see that. Okay, that's... Yes, that's this way. Okay, so that was the landing checklist I did. Yep. And then entering ramp, the APU. Let's actually get the APU on sooner rather than later. There we go. At least it's starting now. Not like it was last time. Yeah. Let's get the air feed on from the APU, so that's up and running when we need it. And
Tanzania 30 Mike, request taxi.
Tanzania 30 Mike, taxi to holding point Alpha, runway 27, via Echo.
Via Echo, holding point Alpha, runway 27, close out via 30 Mike.
despite the fact that this is a scenery designed for 2024, as far as I'm aware, it does actually harken back to like sceneries of an older generation, like the FSX P3D generation. It feels FSX P3D when I was on Final Approach coming down. It just felt the textures were quite basic, I felt. But it's the only one for 2024 that we have at the moment, and I quite like it. So it's a good distance across Europe to be able to come in a regional aircraft like this. And I like the Venice area as well. So I have been here in real life, not this particular airport, but the other airport for Venice. 327, he said. Yes, 327 is this one coming up right here.
Tanzania 30 Mike is ready for reaching.
Tanzania 30 Mike, runway 27, cleared for takeoff. Wind is calm.
Roger, clear takeoff 27, Tanzania 30 Mike.
Yeah, okay, 327. As we come up, let's just take off the taxi light. Oh, didn't turn that properly very well. Definitely not on the mark there. Let's just swing back in. And park there. Parking brake on. So let's just have a look at the parking checklist. Parking brake set. Seatbelts off. We should probably let's get the APU on first, and then we can bring the engines off. Okay, APU is on. Ground power is on, but we'll just leave it on the APU for the moment. Fuel pumps set, so let's just turn off the fuel pumps. Ice protection, anti-collision light can go off. Pneumatic crossfeed, we'll just leave it as is, dudes. Air conditioning can be set. Let's leave it on with the APU because it's hot. Ignition off. Yep, ignition is off. Alt.
Control Pegasus 659 Whiskey, descending 260 for 210 at Labin.
Engine oil quantity checked.
Pegasus, correction, Santurk 659 Whiskey. Path identified.
APU set. Pitot static can go off.
Expect ILS Zulu
Cockpit lights as required.
right. Descent flight level 120.
Checklists complete.
Cleared Basel to Echo.
Let's put the cones and chocks in. Let's go cargo forward as well.
Padova, hello, Lux Air 873, radio check.
Charlie 873, Padova identified.
Okay, folks, so there we go. Let's actually just run around the airport. I've not really looked at this before. So, let's see if I can...
730 Mike, Padova identified,
showcase.
Flight level 160.
Yeah.
Flight level 160, Preserve 30 Mike.
Oh, that's a... I think there is an aircraft inbound as well. Let's just check who it is that's inbound. Yeah, there's a Ryanair inbound. We'll see him landing soon. We can wait for him. But lovely area, really lovely area. I have actually been to Venice. It's the only place in Europe that I've been into. Yeah, you see, this is what I was saying, guys, about it feeling a bit old-fashioned.
Mike, any chance direct loop in?
Safia 30 Mike, clear direct loop in.
Direct loop in, 30 Mike. Thank you very much.
Now, let's have a look down this runway. Zoom level. Let's zoom in all the way. Where is he? We can't see him yet. Let's see how far away he is. He is 2,700 feet. Okay, yeah. He's coming, but he's not here quite this second. We should be able to see him. We not see him anywhere? Yeah, whenever aircraft actually spawn into the sim is a bit of a weird one for me. We technically should be able to see him from here, but I don't see him on the screen at all.
Padova radar, good afternoon, enter 75 Zulu Alpha, flight level 340, inbound Delta Echo Tango Sierra Alpha.
Enter 75 Zulu Alpha, Padova identified, SOC 4706.
Let's see, how far away is he from me now?
Enter 75 Zulu Alpha.
He's 8.8 nautical miles away from me and inbound. So he's within 10 nautical miles now and I still can't see him. That's a problem. That's a problem in the sim. I need to be able to extend the distance in the sim that I can see aircraft.
Ryanair 2302, fully established 04 right, Venice.
Ryanair 2302, runway 04 right, cleared to land, runway correction, wind.
You see, in V-Pilot,
runway 04 right, clear to land, Ryanair 230.
I've got aircraft displayed quite far, but then that's not the right...
La pista in uso è la 1-2, riporti il finale, pista 1-2.
Autorizzata CTR di Bologna, riporta.
Oh, what has he done?
1-2, Academy 001.
Oh, he's banking left. What is he doing? He's not following.
Padova radar, good afternoon. Aero service 120, flight level 150 with you.
What is he doing?
Ciao, Aero service 120, Padova identified. Cleared Albert to Echo arrival, expect ILS Zulu, runway 04 right.
Whoa, he just...
Clear Albert to Echo standard arrival for ILS Zulu, runway 24.
He just weaved off the
right,
ILS.
service 120.
Like crazy. Right.
Transavia 30 Mike, monitor Unicom 122.8, ciao.
122.8, bon weekend.
I still can't
Transavia
see
30
him.
Mike.
What is he doing? I still can't see him at 4.5 nautical miles.
Airwings 33 November, monitor Unicom 12.8, ciao.
Eurowings 33 November, monitor Unicom.
He's turned away.
Und ciao.
At 6.
Aero Service 120, clear the direct Albert.
Direct Albert, Aero Service 120.
What has he done? He's now climbing slightly. He must have done some sort of missed approach.
Ryanair 2302 is a Mayday situation here. Lost flight control.
Alright.
Ryanair 2302, Padova Roger, state your intentions.
I have no idea at the moment, sir. I think I'm going to disconnect. I have no flight control authority at this time.
Roger, ciao.
There he is. But I only see him... Yeah, there you go. Look, he disappears and he appears. But how far away is that? That's not very far away at all. So that's what I need to improve. I don't know what setting in Microsoft is doing that. Does anyone know? Does anyone know what setting? That is actually... See, where am I there? Okay, I'm right overhead the top of that runway there.
Enter 75 Zulu Alpha.
Go ahead.
Enter 75 Zulu Alpha, apologies. Monitor Unicom 122.8, ciao.
122.8, confirm on the westbound track we need to stay at 350.
Italy airspace, flight odd levels, southbound.
Okay.
Right.
Let's get rid of VATSIM. And let me just have a look. So what main? No, not main menu. I want to go to the settings. Let's look at what setting dictates the distance at which I can see AI aircraft. I'll have to come back, guys. I'll have to come back in another video, do this in my own time to figure out. Anyway, but thanks very much, guys, for watching. I quite enjoyed that. I think I'm going to go find some cold water to drink and... yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. Thanks for joining. Till next time, good to see you, Ian. Yep. And, yeah, I'll go try and find out what that issue is with the visibility of the AI aircraft at distance. I'll Google that and see if I can find out. So, and I will see you guys later.